Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I want to talk about what you can do if you have pages that are getting some search traffic, they're getting some traffic from Google, but you feel like that they could rank higher and you don't necessarily have time to rewrite the whole article, but you want to make some small adjustments to the title tag and the meta description. Keep in mind, remember that the title tag and the meta description are what show up in search results. The title tag is the headline of the search result, and the meta description is the 2 or 3 sentences that are right below that. Okay, so what I do, the methodology that I use to make adjustments to the title tag and the description, there's 4 browser tabs that I keep open when I'm doing this. The browser tab number 1 is Google Analytics, and I want to open it up. Acquisition, source, medium, and there should be a list of all the sources of your traffic, such as organic Google, direct, organic Bing, pay-per-click, referral, could be like different ones in there. But what I want to look at is just organic Google. And when you see that list, I think normally the default is 10 results, but I want to open that up to 500 results. And the reason why I want to do that is I want to look at the whole list. I don't want to just look at 10 at a time. I want to look at the whole list at once. And 500 is usually, that will give you articles that are getting some traffic, but even on a large site, that'll be the ones that you'll get the most return on if you make these adjustments. Now, the second browser tab that I have open is Google Search Console for that particular domain property. And what I'm looking at is the screen where you have impressions and clicks, because there's a list of keywords that people saw and either they clicked or they didn't. That's the impressions. And again, I want to open that up to, like 500 or however many it'll let you look at. And the reason why I'm doing this will be clear in a minute. Now, the third browser tab that I have open, is KW Finder, which is a tool. I think it costs like about $150 a year, maybe $199 for a whole year. Really good bargain. But you can look up search results from different cities or just in general anywhere, but it also give you cost per click information for the different keywords and a keyword search volume for different keywords. And I want to look, it's a way to look at the actual first page of search results and then what the search volume is on those really quickly. Okay, and now the fourth tab that I have open is Google itself, because I want to search if I find a particular keyword phrase that is in my Google Search Console list. I want to be able to search it and see what the actual titles and descriptions are on the first page Google. Maybe mine is on the first page, maybe it's not. Maybe it's on the second page, maybe it's on the 4th page. But I want to see what's on the first page so I can kind of look and see what people are actually trying to find. Okay, so let's say, for example, you got your list of Google Analytics, what's getting traffic from organic Google. Now, I don't necessarily want to look at the top 10 or even the top 20. I want to look at the results that are below that. I know that they're getting a little bit of traffic. I'll usually look at the last 30 days worth of traffic. And the ones that are maybe outside of the top 20 pages on your site, I'm assuming like the site probably has a few hundred pages. If you have less than that, then you can adjust that number. But basically, I'm looking outside of the greatest hits. I'm looking outside of the pages that are already bringing in a ton of traffic, and they probably already rank well. I'm looking for ones that kind of rank maybe they rank at the lower half of the first page, or they're below that. They're on page 2 or below. But they're getting some traffic. Now what I'll do is I'll go down that list, and what it should show you in Google Analytics, remember we're on acquisition, source, medium, Google Organic. It should give you a list of the different pages, the URLs. Now I can look at the URLs and I can pretty much determine by looking at my Google Search Console list of different keywords that got impressions. I can figure out what matches up to what. So I'll look at ones like that. I will take the keyword phrases that people were searching in Search Console, and I'll drop that into KW Finder. That will tell me the monthly search volume, and will also tell me if I'm in the top 10, where I can keep clicking like load more, and I can see where that particular site ranks for that particular keyword. So let's say that we have a target keyword, and some sort of search phrase showed up in Search Console there, and it's obvious, okay, that's matching up to this page in Analytics. And let's say that it ranks, we'll say it ranks somewhere on page 2. We'll say it like ranks number 18. Then what we're going to do is we're going to Google that same keyword that was up in Google Search Console, and we're going to see what Google returns. Now we're looking at the top 10. We're looking at page 1 of Google, and we can see if there's anything that we need to have in there. For example, we'll say that our post that we're trying to raise up is something like 7 tips to make your manufacturing plant more productive. And the phrase that we saw in Google Search Console was manufacturing productivity. And let's say that we throw that into KW Finder, and we find that that has a search volume of 70, we'll say 70 searches per month. It's probably higher. And we're ranking on page 2. And then we look at the actual Google search results, and everything that's on page 1, the titles might look something like 7 steps to make your manufacturing facility more productive, productivity tips, or 7 productivity tips for manufacturing, make your manufacturing plant more efficient, things like that. And maybe we look at our title that's on page 2, and it doesn't have like the numeral, or it doesn't have steps, or maybe the title's cut off because the title's too long. Google will truncate titles a lot of the time if they're beyond, what is it, like 65 characters, 70 characters. So you want to have those characters less than that. Oh, okay, and I did fib a little. There is a 5th browser window that I have open when I'm doing this, and that is just any online word count or character count type of deal. There's different tools out there that'll, you can put some text in there and it'll count how many characters there are. So we're using that for judging how many characters we want to have in there. We want to keep the title to somewhere between 60 and maximum like 70 characters. So we want to make sure that it doesn't get cut off, but somewhere between like 60 and maybe 64 characters. And then we want to keep the meta description below 160 characters. One thing that Google will do too in the search results is if you type in a search phrase, it will highlight different words that are in the meta description that correlate to that phrase. Either words that are directly out of that search phrase or ones that are synonymous with it. So what we're looking for also is descriptions that are on page 1 that seem to have certain words that maybe our description is lacking, or maybe they're describing something, or they're calling people in to click that page somehow. And we're reassessing our description. Is our description cut off because it's too long? Is our description not very compelling? Is it not a compelling call to action? Now, titles really do make a big difference. You got to have the keywords or a keyword phrase or something that is synonymous with that in the title. Meta descriptions, Google has said, they don't directly influence search. Keywords in the meta description don't necessarily influence ranking, but again, they highlight the words that are there, so people might click on those. They do highlight keywords that were in your search phrase if you're a casual searcher. So we want to make sure that we have that. Mostly, like, the meta description is there to compel people to click. So what I'll do is I'll go down the list of different ones, and that's how I'll do it. I'll basically look at opportunities, look at what titles are ranking on page 1 or ranking above us. And let's talk about pages that we can ignore. The ones that I look at and I say, like, this might not be the biggest thing that we need to work on. So these are cases. If the search volume is very, very low, like if it comes back like NA, like not available, then we know that search volume is probably pretty low. So that's probably a lower priority. We might rank number 1 for that. We might rank in the top 3 for that. It just might be a low search volume, and that's why it's not one of the top 20 or top 10 traffic gathering pages on our site. So in that case, we can leave that one as it is because we're already ranking high. Another case in which you'd want to leave it alone is if it's local SEO. Let's say that the top 3 spots are all Yelp or Yelp and Home Advisor or something like that. Let's say if your home services like a contractor, and you're the first result that's outside of these aggregator sites like Home Advisor or Yelp, then you're probably doing okay. I wouldn't really make any changes there because you're the first result that's not Yelp. So don't make any changes there. The last scenario in which you wouldn't want to change anything is, let's say, we'll use this example. Let's say that you deal with different types of software or some type of vendor or distributor or something like that. And the keyword phrase has the name of that product or that software or that something else, but let's say the top 3 or 4 or 5 results are all results from that product company. And let's say that you're the first result right below that. So maybe you're number 6, but the top 5 are all the product company. In that case, you're probably not going to outrank them for their own term from their own site. And being right below that is probably as good as you're going to get in most cases. So those are cases in which I wouldn't make any changes to the title and description, just because the way that the search rankings work, you're very unlikely to outrank those other ones. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's very unlikely that you're going to be more helpful than the actual source material or a aggregator type of marketplace. So I hope that's helpful to you. These are just ways that you can improve your titles and descriptions for pages that are getting some traffic. They're ranking somewhat. They're not in the top 5 or anything like that, but there's opportunities for you to get more traffic from those pages. So remember, you're looking at Google Analytics and you're looking at acquisition, source medium, and then just Google Organic for the last month. You want to look at the whole list. Same thing with Google Search Console. You want to look at clicks and impressions from the last month, and you're looking at the keyword list. Then you're using a tool like KW Finder to look at the search volume and look at the actual rankings and find where you rank in that list. And then you're actually looking at the Google search results and seeing what are common denominators in the titles and descriptions on the first page, and then also clicking through and seeing like what's on those pages. And then lastly, using a character count or word count to make sure that your new title and descriptions aren't going to get cut off. They're not too long. You're using the amount of characters that you can use. That's all I got for today. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO, and I'm here on a daily basis giving SEO tips and advice. Be here tomorrow. Hey, I'd love to see you subscribe. I think we're going to hit 600 subscribers within the next day. I would love to see us get to 1,000 subscribers. I know we can do that. Momentum's on our side. Be back tomorrow. That's all I got. Till next time. Peace.